I think is this Slogan? No, this can't be the last one. We didn't talk about the guy getting shot.
We didn't because I think we wanted to do that one proper like.
I still want to talk about him being shot.
Yeah.
Let me find this one. I gotta find this because if I didn't put it in the queue, then that's one thing. Yeah, I didn't put it in the queue. Yeah, that was supposed to be 6 instead of 7. Let's just talk about it real quick. Hey, because we'll do a full show on it, but I want to get it out there because it was still an important thing. Let me find it. Because the story in itself is just enough. Like,
all right, well, man, if you don't mind, let me jump this off.
All right.
So imagine.
Hold on. All right, we're queued up. There you go.
Imagine you getting off work, leaving the gym, just out on running some errands. You stop at Subway. You order yourself a $5 foot long with extra meat and some sun chips and a soda, and you come to the crib. You put in your key on the door, and as you open the door, 3 shots ring out, and you collapse, and your 5-year-old, was it son or cousin?
Son.
And your grandmother watch you collapse to the ground and bleed out because you were wrongfully murdered in cold blood by a 17-year veteran of the police force who was working for the U.S. Marshal's office looking for fugitives. And here's the ironic thing. What do U.S. Marshals do to fugitives? They catch them and bring them back to jail or bring them to jail because they're a fugitive. The U.S. Marshals deputize bounty hunters and other police agencies to assist with catching fugitives. And instead of following the normal protocol, no other officers were around. Ironically, this Columbus police officer doesn't have a body cam because still in 2020, there are police agencies that do not have body cams for whatever reason. We pay taxes to these freaking cities, and instead of using the money to buy body cams, we're giving these police officers extra bonuses for this foolishness. So imagine you're the grandmother, you're the little boy who has no idea why this red juice is coming out of his daddy, but instinctually knows that his daddy got shot because he's a little black kid in America. Imagine having to come home to this. And this is unacceptable behavior from a 17-year veteran of the police force. 17 years, and you have not developed the mental faculties and the reasoning ability so that you can decide, hey, deadly force is not needed. I found a guy I think's a fugitive going into a house. I should call for backup and stop trying to be Billy Badass and shoot somebody. But this is what's happening. There have been some other police incidents that I'm like, but this one, egregious, absolutely egregious. Not making an excuse for this. This is unacceptable behavior, and something needs to be done. This guy needs to be under jail. He needs to go to Rikers Island, Sing Sing. He needs to go to a federal penitentiary on Cell Block D with Pookie and Ray Ray now. That's where he need to be. That's where he belongs. And the city, the police union, whatever the hell, needs to make. You can't. There's no price on a human life, but some restitution needs to be made. That boy that had to watch his daddy down the ground should never, ever, ever have to pay for college, a car, anything. That kid should have tens of millions of dollars set aside for him after he turns 18, 21 years old. It's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And we as a community need to apply pressure to these agencies to get them to do right by the citizenry. The police, as it stand, take every opportunity to levy taxes and fine. They're sworn to protect and serve, but it ain't us. It's the city or the municipality in which empowers them to do all of this foolishness. And why are we? And again, I'm here screaming into a camera and a microphone on YouTube, but more of us need to be screaming into a camera and a microphone. More of us need to be screaming in front of the Columbus police and the people in that city. Listen, if they're not out there in front of the Columbus Police Department causing a ruckus, we have a serious problem in this country. People are becoming desensitized to what my brother said. People are becoming desensitized to seeing these kinds of things on YouTube and on the TV. They are normalizing the murder of innocent people. They're normalizing the murder of certain kinds of people in this country. It's socially acceptable to kill this guy because his life ain't worth shit. Sorry, I usually don't swear on the podcast, but this got me heated. And this is the thing. They're going to sweep it under the rug. The police union they're going to put him on administrative leave. He's going to get a psych eval. He might get suspended indefinitely, but nothing's going to happen. You know why? Because we have police unions. We have cities that need these people to levy fines and taxes against the citizenry. So this person is going to retain some kind of life. He's been on the force for 17 years. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets put on administrative duty. They make him retire in 3 years. He gets his pension and he goes off to some obscure town and gets to work another 20 years and get another retirement. This is a bunch of foolishness. Anyway, I'm done ranting, Heero.
It's not a rant. You're telling the eulogy of Casey Goodson. Like the guy had a key, sandwich, face mask in his hands. Those three items on their own laid out in front of you, even if you tried to shape them in the shape of a gun, you couldn't do it. Furthermore, to this police department, Columbus Police Department has had 4 other police-related shootings where one keynote factor was made mention, that a weapon was flashed at an officer. In all 4 of those other shootings, all officers used the same exact verbiage. And this is how I sent those other officers to jail, because I picked up on verbiage. Every time, and when I was in Texas and those officers all said, could you imagine being someone who was arrested for DUI and fighting tooth and nail on the weed possession charge, but not the DUI? These things just make a change. And the word verbiage that was used in this police report was the same. The driver flashed a weapon outside of the car, which prompted the officer to turn around and pursue. To your point, there's protocols for that. It's called backup. To your point, the vehicle didn't match the suspect. The location didn't match the suspect. I've grown tired of hearing people say, we are looking for this black guy. And you want to know why this is a trope we know about? Because if you've watched Django Unchained, what did the bounty hunter tell you? Always keep that wanted poster on you. So if you shoot the wrong person, you got a free jail, get out of free jail card. It's the same logic here. It's never changed. It's never going to change unless the pressure is applied. And applied on a serious notion. This guy needs to be thrown underneath the jail. You're right. But what is it that they're going to dig up on Casey Goodson? Because he has no criminal record. He's a legal gun holder. I already looked into his school. He never even served detention. The principal started crying when she heard he got shot.
Yep.
The problem is...
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
I haven't looked into anything about the community. Have they made a stink? These people, the principal cried. That's great. But have these people who knew this man personally made a stink?
Yes. 4 days into it, they're still asking questions. But this is the problem with the pandemic. Because if you go out there to protest your fallen brother, do you risk bringing home the pandemic to your brothers and sisters? It's hard to say that them not making us think about this is the problem, because they wouldn't have to do this if they didn't even. Could you imagine one of the things they mentioned was this man had a mask in his hand? Literally, basically had a conscience or the wherewithal to be like, I'm trying to help people out here. He is a model citizen.
Yep.
And they stole him from us.
Yep.
They talk about how our society is constantly struggling, but never want to acknowledge how they are part of the reason we struggle. Black boy don't got a father because there's an officer. And this officer, instead of him, I looked up how many rape kits go untested in this state. There's 1,433. They could have found a rapist, a sexual deviant, a sexual assaulter, and charged his punk ass, but instead he's out here looking for fugitives because that sounds cooler. And you don't want to get somebody in trouble for having sex. Plus, the rape kits cost about $230, and that's taking money from our budget. We're going to talk about defunding the police on a different podcast, a one-off. It won't even be live because we're going to get you guys some stats. But when we say defund the police, we mean take every fucking penny that is being used to enable bullshit like this. And Obama, you had the balls to get on an interview and say defund the police is too snappy. His hashtag is pretty fucking snappy too. His hashtag is #1 on Twitter right now. How snappy is that? If you say defund the police, you're gonna lose people who want to support you. Go fuck yourself if you don't support it, because defunding the police keeps people like me and Eric alive.
Yes, but when we talk in detail about defund the police, you'll understand what we mean. Me and Heero had an argument about that earlier, where we wanted to say the smoke for y'all so y'all could see it. But
let's get to these comments, man. Like,
yes, we got lots of comments on here. I'm gonna have to scroll back up, man.
Yeah.
So start with Jesse. He said it's insane how it can seem like another one at this point. Police murder and school shootings shouldn't be this commonplace. It's sickening. Keisha seconds that. Jesse says it's murder, plain and simple. Treat him like what he is. And Keisha gave me the hand claps and all of that. Jesse, how are the people saying don't take our guns not as upset about government workers murdering unarmed citizens? Heero, what do you think about that?
Well, as a gun owner now, this is because in this situation, he is a legal gun owner. If he has turned around and shot this officer, would he have been in the wrong? Because when the facts come out,
if the officer missed,
if he shot this officer dead to right on his property, making a false accusation of him and accusing him of being a fugitive, and he shot him, would the guy be wrong? The answer is no, because he was defending himself, his property, and his grandmother and child who was locked in the house. When the government approaches you with violence, you have the right to defend yourself.
Yes.
And this is something that people need to understand. I knew this girl.
Man, you sounded like a 2A advocate right now.
Because I have to be now. Because I've seen the deranged ability of plausible deniability.
And let me pause and just give my man some credit, because I remember when we first started this podcast like 2.5, almost 3 years ago, Heero was completely not. I had a gun. I'm never getting a gun again. And I remember I was on him. I said, Heero, you got people to come home to, bro. I said, listen, if I get a phone call from Mom Dukes or Nafi or Lukman and they tell me that something happened because you didn't have a pistol on you, listen, I'm gonna revive you and choke you myself. But again, now you see all these events happen. These things change people's mind, especially somebody like Heero, who was not originally a gun advocate. He knows, like, I have to protect myself and other people. It's not just about me anymore. It's about those who can't defend themselves.
So, and that's to my point. My gun is locked up in a safe, and the ammo's kept in a separate place. And when I when I finally brought the gun home, I told myself 2 things. 1, never answer the door in the middle when it's dark without it. And 2, if the police say come and get it, they're here for some bullshit raid or whatever, make sure that they know where it is before it even gets to it. Like, I'm fortunate to say that I'll never have a knock on my door at 2 a.m. I get to say that because of the things I do, the places I work, and the places I choose to live. But Uncle Pookie and them do not deserve to be harassed because they live with Daquan and Tisha.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you live in a socioeconomic status, when 90% of the revenue of a city comes from only 13% of the population, that's a fucking problem, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that.
We don't want to shortchange this topic. We just wanted to put it out here, but we're definitely gonna have a more
I wanted
detail.
people to know Casey Goodson's name. I wanted people to know he was wrongfully killed. And I want people to know that we will find you. We will find your fucking.
We will avenge.
We will get
Casey
your
Goodson.
shit, bro. Like we are not going to go peacefully with this.
No.
But as we get updates on the story, you guys know about it. Remember the conversation about Heero and guns? Yeah, I've evolved. I have to.
Yes,
I had to evolve. I think I want to jump into. Let's go to the now we finally have the last story. The second story I want to talk about was the lady who got her house raided over COVID. But I think we can take that off that one on post case.
Yeah, we can take that one.
The last one. Let's end on a good note. All right, guys. I know this is a little bit of a downer. I'm a little intense right now. I want to take a second. Let's go through some breathing exercise. Everybody just shake it out real quick, all right? Loosen up a little bit. Loosen up.
Relax,
guys.
relate, release.
All right, we're going to go into deep breathing. Here we go. Ready? On 3. Let's go with that deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Release. All right, guys. All right. We needed that. That.
Cool points for anybody in the comment section that knows where relax, relate, release comes from. I'm gonna be really shocked. This
Google search.
Google.
But hey, that was